Hey YouTube, how y'all doing tonight? This is Laverne Fuller with the Fuller Effect. And I wanted to come on tonight with you guys about something that's been concerning me. As you know, the author, entrepreneur, model, beautiful, intelligent black woman, Barbara Smith, whom we know as B. Smith, passed away a couple of days ago. And before her death, there was a lot surrounding the controversy that her husband, Dan, decided to bring another woman into their home. As it goes, as we know, B. Smith was a sufferer of dementia, Alzheimer's dementia. So over time, her memory began to fade. And of course, this big, beautiful, I mean big, I'm not talking about in size, I'm talking about in personality and style, beautiful black woman began to dissipate from what he knew, from what he remembered. She almost became childlike. She couldn't remember things. She couldn't be left on her own recognizance. And so, after taking care of her a while, he decided that he needed a companion to move on with his life. And he also, at some point, moved that companion into the house with him. He took this woman on dates with him and B. His idea was that B could not understand and that he was doing the right thing by keeping her in the home and taking care of her, not putting her away, but yet continuing to live his life. I was watching a show, a YouTube channel by the name of Larry Reed Live, and I was listening to the vlogger Larry Reed talk about the fact that he completely understood and supported Dan's decision to have another woman in the home over B, treating her as a child in her time of sickness. Because of her lack of understanding, his intention or his situation was that he felt as though Dan had a right to move on with his life and that he had needs that needed to be met. Well, let me just tell you that I take total issue with all of that. You see, first of all, when you love someone and you marry someone, the vows say in sickness and health, for better or worse. So she was sick and it got hard. It did. And everybody wants to say that she did not know what was going on. And I kind of take issue with that too. And let me tell you why. For those of you that don't really know me or know about me, I was married to a wonderful man by the name of Myron Fuller for 16 years. We were together for 18 years. Myron he suffered from diabetes, and the complications of diabetes caused him to be a patient for dialysis. During those dialysis treatments, they were getting whatever solution they were receiving was causing them to pass out after the treatments. Now, if you did not know any better, you would hear people say that this was a normal cause just because of dialysis. Well, after a long investigation and some lawsuits, it was determined, and the company was indeed found negligent, that the solution that they were giving the patients during dialysis caused their heart to stop and caused them to pass out. Well, Myron, who had been a trucker for 29 years, very intelligent man, never forgot anything, big, exciting, personable guy. Everybody who met him loved him, never forgot anything, aware of everything, passed out and had to be resuscitated 4 times. This caused short-term memory loss. Now, the first thing I'll say about someone with short-term memory loss or the inability to remember is they know that something's wrong. You can see it in their face. You can see it when they're trying to get it together. They're more aware than you that there's something wrong and something different that's going on. The thing about it is, and there's an embarrassment to them. You can tell it. You can see it in them because they know they're not like they were. They can't necessarily articulate it, but they know something's not right. And so Myron, like B. Smith, was a person with a lot of presence and a lot going on. Now suddenly I can't remember. But see, the lack of memory was not all the time. You never really could put your finger on when they do and don't remember. There were times that I speak with Myron, he'd remember the whole conversation 3 days later. And there were other times that I would speak to him and he couldn't remember the conversation in 5 minutes from now. If he was away from home too long, back and forth in the hospital, when he came back home, he had to reacquaint himself with his environment. But once he was home, after a few days and after he reacquainted himself, he popped right back into it. I bring this up to say, for all of the people that insist that B. Smith had no idea what was going on, had no idea that her husband was seeing another woman, think again. You don't know what she knew and what she didn't know. You don't know what she was aware of and what she wasn't aware of, because we don't know at what times her memory was completely there, and we don't know at what times that her memory was not there. And I can only imagine the pain of this woman if she had a glimpse of memory at any time, sitting there watching the man who supposedly loved her sit with another woman in front of her, loving and canoodling and carrying on, allowing this woman to treat her like a child, slapping her hand, telling her to sit down and be quiet. What happened, Dan? What happened to the love that you have for B? True love is not tested when everything is good. True love is tested when something happens. You gotta love people when they're the hardest to love. That means when they can't do nothing for you, when they can't give anything to you, when you know they need you. I heard him say that, or heard it said, I don't want to necessarily say I heard him say it, but I heard it said that to him she became a nuisance. How is it that if you truly love someone, that when they can no longer be the best them that they can possibly be, they become an annoyance to you? I have to challenge your love for them from the very beginning. How much did you really love them? And the reason I say that is because when I saw Myron hurt, I hurt. When I saw he couldn't remember it, I was his biggest protector. Never once in all that time did he ever become a nuisance, a bother, an annoyance to me ever. Whatever piece of him I had, I was happy to have it because he was a good man and I loved him. I'm not even going to lie. There were days that I prayed that we get it back the way it was. But you know what? From what I couldn't have, I was grateful to God for what I could have and what I did have. And I flourished in it and I cherished it as long as I could. When he couldn't remember, I had patience to help him try to remember. When he got impatient, I understood why he was impatient. And sometimes he was downright ornery. But I knew the man's heart. I knew who he was. I knew who he was when he was at his best, when he could do everything for me. And he did. When his very best was set up for me and our daughter. Yes. So you tell me that when this person no longer can help you shine and make a big name for you, and you have to do a couple extra things for them, they're okay to push in a corner or disrespect their honor by bringing another woman right there in front of her house, in front of her face, canoodling like she's nothing, and to add insult to injury, you brought a white woman. I'm not a prejudiced person, but I am a black woman with honor, with dignity, who have worked hard, and there are some things that slaps you in the face, and that, my dear, was a slap, a big backhanded slap in the face. I don't know what Dan felt. I don't know him personally, what he felt like he was going through. I know what I went through. And I can tell you that the conversations are very similar. Because yes, there were days Myron couldn't remember anything, and we did have to watch him like a child. And my daughter and I, we loved him. We loved him. There was nothing too much to do. Okay, he can't remember. Okay, we're going to take it slower. Okay, we're going to talk to him. We're going to have to look after him a little bit. But we did it, and we did it out of love. And it was my pleasure, my honest pleasure, to do what I could for somebody that loved me so deeply that I loved back. See, that's the real question. The real question is, who do you love, and are you sure? Who do you love, and are you sure? See, it's real easy to love folks when you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to put anything in, and you really don't have to be there. You just reap the benefits. But your real love is tested when they can't give you back what you've been getting, and your life has changed, and it's not everything is big. Do you stand and fight, or do you run for cover? Now, some people might say, well, he kept her with him, so he stood. But did he really? Did he really stand and fight? Did he really love her enough for her to be his focus? What they had to be his focus, to put what he had into whatever they had left until they had nothing more? People say he needs, okay, right? That's called adultery. You do know. Because as long as she was still alive and he was sleeping with other women, that went against God and it went against the marriage vow. For better or worse, in sickness and health, till death do us part. Y'all, that don't come. It doesn't change when a person gets a little bit sicker than you thought they'd be. It doesn't change when a person is not who you thought they would be down the road because something happened. Because, see, I believe if the shoe had been on the other foot, I don't believe that B. Smith would have done anything but honor that man till his very last breath. I believe she loved him enough that there was nothing she would have done to shame his name, to disgrace his name, to embarrass him. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. That woman, that classy woman with all that class and character, I don't see that. She just didn't seem like that kind of person to me. And I ask you, look inside yourself and really ask yourself, what type of lover are you? Are you a lover of convenience and inconvenience, or just a lover of convenience, period? Because, in these relationships, somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's not going to feel well. It could be, okay, I just don't feel good. It could be, I can't see anymore. It could be, I get disfigured. It could be, I lose my memory. Who are you going to be? Where are you going to be? What side are you going to stand on? Guys, your character is not tested when everything is good. Your character is tested when something happens. Who are you when something happens? Do you really know what love is? Because I promise you, when I'm looking at a size 2 and sexy and fine, and I don't need anything from you, and I'm able to spend your money, I don't need to give you that love, because what you are is infatuated with what I am. But when I'm sick, gained a little weight, not moving as fast as I did, do you love me the same way? Will you still love me tomorrow? This thing really bothered me because it seems like a lot of people try to justify the fact that this woman, this decent woman, this stand-up woman got sick and got treated any old kind of way. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You see, when you're blessed to find someone that loves you so much that everything they are and everything they do is about the betterment of you, it is your due diligence to return it to them. It is. I don't know, guys. You guys might not feel like I feel. I'd like to know what you feel. So why don't you comment down below? Tell me what you're thinking. I'd like to maybe bring you guys on and talk about it online. Anyway, you know how I'm going to say it. I love you with the love of the Lord. There's nothing you can do about it. And let me go back here to you who have talked to me about Lonnie Love. I don't hate Lonnie Love. I don't hate anybody. But I could not sit there and talk about her for 15 minutes and then say I love her. At that point, she wasn't my favorite person. But I don't know her personally, don't care enough about her to get that deep in it to be able to allow myself to get deep enough to hate her, period. Okay? So don't call me no more talking about Lonnie. I don't care. If she do something else stupid, I will be talking about her again. So y'all know how I do it. I love you. Hope you love me back. This is Laverne with the Fuller Effect. Peace out.